This is First Coast Math Clinic with Lesson 6, Addition and Subtraction Equations from Unit 2, Equations and Expressions with the Pre-algebra and Algebra focus. So the goal in this video is to solve and check addition and subtraction equations. So we're going to focus specifically on addition and subtraction equations in this video. But before we do that, I want to get into what an equation is. So an equation is a mathematical statement with an equal sign. So when we have a statement that includes an equal sign, we're talking about an equation. So let's take a look at a couple examples of equations. So we've got x plus 5 equals 12, 15 equals y minus 9. 2 times x equals 20, and x divided by 3 equals 8. So these are all examples of equations. We're going to be looking specifically at the first two types of examples here, two types of equations. X plus 5 equals 12, and 15 equals y minus 9, because we've got an addition equation here and a subtraction equation here. So we're going to be looking at solving these two types of equations in this video. Now, the way we're going to solve these equations is using what's called the inverse operations. So inverse operations are operations that undo each other. So if we think about addition, well, what operation undoes addition? That's subtraction. And for multiplication, what operation undoes multiplication? That's going to be division. Well, since we're looking at addition and subtraction equations, we're going to be working primarily with addition and subtraction today. So we're going to be using addition to undo subtraction, subtraction to undo addition. So let's get into some examples and go through the steps that we're going to follow to solve our addition and subtraction equations. So for example 1, we've got x plus 5 equals 12. In example 2, we've got 15 equals y minus 9. So we've got our addition equation here and our subtraction equation here. So we're subtracting 9 and we're adding 5 for 1. So, well, what are the steps that we're going to use to solve this? Well, our first step is we're going to isolate our variable using inverse operations. So we want to get the variable by itself by using inverse operations. So for number 1, I want to get this x by itself, and I want to move that 5 from the left side that it's currently on to the right side using inverse operations. Well, what's the inverse of addition? Well, the inverse of addition is going to be subtraction. So I'm going to subtract the 5 on the left side, and whatever I do to the left side, I've got to do to the right side. So minus 5 minus 5. 5 and 5 is going to give me 0, so it's going to basically cancel out on the left side. I'll bring down the x, and I'll get x equals 7. So we've isolated the variable on the left side for number 1. Let's do the same thing for number 2. So I'm going to add 9 because addition is the inverse of subtraction. So plus 9, negative 9 plus positive 9 cancel out. That's 0, so we don't need that anymore. So we're going to get y equals, and then bring down 15 plus 9 is 24. So we've got our answer here, but we've got one more step. We want to check the answer using substitution. So let's check for number 1. So our original equation, x plus 5 equals 12. Good thing about equations is we could always check our answer to make sure we're correct. We know x is 7, so I could take that 7, put it back in for x. So I'll get 7 plus 5 equals 12. 7 plus 5 is 12, and I get 12 equals 12. So my left side and right side are equal, so that answer checks. Number 2, our check. And since these are basically like one-step equations, they're pretty easy to check. But when our answer and our equation becomes a little bit more complex, our check is going to be a little bit more important. So we get y equals 24, so I'll put 24 in for y. So we'll have 15 equals 24 minus 9, and we get 15 equals 15, and our answer checks. So left side and the right side are equal to each other. Let's look at two more addition and subtraction equations. All right, number 3, we've got x minus 7 equals negative 8, so we want to use our inverse operation. Let's undo subtracting 7 and add 7 and add 7. So negative 7 plus positive 7 cancel out. We're left with x equals negative 8 plus 7. It's going to give us negative 1. Now our check. Let's take our original equation, x minus 7 equals negative, actually it shouldn't be negative 1, it should be negative 8. And let's take our negative 1, put it in for x. So I'll get negative 1 minus 7 equals negative 8. So we're using our subtraction rule. I'll put a link to the video that I made on subtracting integers should be coming up now, as well as at the end of this video. So using our subtraction rule, keep, change, change, so it becomes negative 1 plus negative 7 equals negative 8. So we get negative 8 equals negative 8, so our answer checks. And then number 4, we're adding 11. Negative 4 equals y plus 11. So let's undo adding 11 and subtract 11. Subtract 11. So the 11s cancel out on the right. And we get negative 15 equals y. So then our check. We get negative 4 equals, let me rewrite the entire equation, equals y plus 11. So let's take that negative 15, put it in for y. So we get negative 4 equals negative 15 plus 11. Negative 15 plus 11. We're adding two numbers of opposite signs, so we want the difference. And we want to take the sign of the number with the larger absolute value. That's going to be our negative 15. So we get negative 4 equals negative 4. And our answer checks. Okay. So this video was lesson 6, addition and subtraction equations from our equations and expressions unit. If you like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. First Coast Math Clinic.